Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. The future of the Liberty Bell Bay smelter is no clearer tonight as meetings are held to assess its ongoing viability. Hundreds of direct jobs hang in the balance, but the impact could be felt right across the state.
Well, the smokestacks stand dormant. On the ground, there are signs of some life left at Liberty Bell Bay, but the grey clouds hanging over the smelter are ominous for nearby Georgetown, home to roughly a third of the plant's 250 full-time staff.
So it will impact families and will impact directly in our community. It is a difficult period. It is anxiety-inducing. So for many of those people, it's going to be a hard slog.
The looming shutdown is also bad news for dozens of businesses in the supply chain. A total collapse would be disastrous.
Yeah, the flow-on effects, not just to Bell Bay, but all of Tasmania are absolutely huge. We really need to understand that. So we're still piecing that together.
The writing has been on the wall as ore stockpiles dwindled. Many are questioning owner GFG Alliance's finger-pointing about the cause of its trouble.
Frankly, I think it's a load of crap that this has got anything to do with Donald Trump. This is to do with their financial situation that they are in.
But there is optimism around the plant's long-term future.
The fundamentals of Liberty Bell Bay's existence is because the steel industry needs that product. And, so the outlook for steel across the world is still increasing.
Employees received an update at an all-hands meeting this morning. However, I'm told that little was said to ease the uncertainty. 40 workers will still be needed from next month for care and maintenance, but what comes after that remains unknown.
Obviously, if they can get an ore supply, it sort of solves itself, but we need to have some time now to talk to the company, be able to get some transparency from them about their situation, also make sure the employees are supported.
As state and federal governments meet to try and carve a path forward.
Cautiously optimistic, we do believe that there is a positive outcome that is achievable.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Support for the state Liberal government has plummeted to record lows, according to new polling, finding the Macquarie Point Stadium is dragging them down. Figures show the contentious project is now the second biggest issue on the minds of Tasmanians, level to the cost of living.
The government's long dubbed its proposed Macquarie Point Stadium a game changer for the state, but according to a new poll, it's tanking their support down among voters.
EMRS actually draws the linkage between the stadium being the equal second in terms of issues for Tasmanians, with a decline in the Liberal vote.
EMRS data shows support for the state Liberals has sunk to a 16-year low, now at 29%, dropping by 5 since February.
It is quite significant, 16 years. I mean, it was the last time was in May 2009.
The results officially putting the opposition ahead on 31% support, but only improving their standing by 1%.
There was speculation because of the federal election where Labor got a huge swing that state Labor might be picking up as well, but this is not coming through.
Labor is not capitalising upon that leakage, potentially because they are supportive of the stadiums.
The spoils instead going to independents, recording a 5% increase. The Greens saw a modest lift of 1%, while the Jackie Lambie network went backwards by 2%.
Voters dissatisfied with the government over various things are parking their vote with independents.
This is a government that doesn't listen, that wants to put a massive $2 billion stadium or more on Macquarie Point. It's a government that's lost touch.
Labor's putting much of the stadium criticism down to the Premier's handling of it.
Attacking legislative councillors, he's broken his promise of a spending cap of $375 million. He's demonstrated that he's failing to deliver this project.
For the Liberals, the Premier's popularity over the opposition leader is a silver lining in an otherwise damning survey.
We'd expect that it would be broadly in line with the federal result, given that it was taken the week after federal polling. Our focus is broadly on Tasmania.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Harness racing trainer Wayne Yole has been given 7 days to relocate horses off a Sidmouth property, following animal welfare concerns. Tas Racing issuing a notice on Yole's licence, banning him from housing or training horses there after inspections in March. The Tasmanian Racing Commissioner says while improvements have been made at the site, the decision was made to impose a condition. The trainer has the right to appeal the ruling to the Tasmanian Racing Board. Well, a 58-year-old Hobart man has faced court via video link following a violent rampage which stretched from Claremont to West Moona in March. James Eric Lachlan-Borth is facing 12 charges but has pleaded not guilty to 4 of them, including attempted murder, dangerous driving and arson. The crime spree ended dramatically when Borth allegedly drove his car into a Qantas call centre. Additional charges include common assault and 1 count related to the death of an animal. He'll face court again in July. Tasmania Police will soon be better equipped to deal with high-risk situations under a new trial expected to begin in July. The rollout of tasers aims to give officers another option before they're forced to reach for their firearms.
Another tool on the ladder between OC spray and lethal force. An alternative to deploying a firearm, so high-risk situations don't need to end with death.
We train our police officers to use force in a really responsible way, the minimum amount of force necessary.
Previously hesitant to arm police with tasers, the state government is now rolling out a 12-month trial with up to 50 officers expected to be trained in the use of the device.
We're satisfied that this will be an important tool for Tasmania Police when they're protecting the public as well as protecting themselves.
The fatal shooting of a 34-year-old Launceston man by police last December, renewing discussion around the availability of tasers for law enforcement in Tasmania. The man had allegedly threatened members of the public with a knife and refused to drop the weapon when directed to by police. OC spray was deployed, but the man continued to advance, which is when officers shot him twice in the chest.
That kind of lethal force that's available through firearms sadly is needed only on rare occasions.
A similar story at Cooey in 2016.
Capsicum spray was deployed, however the armed man charged at an officer and the officer discharged his firearm.
It's hoped tasers will give police another option in similar dangerous situations. The electrical weapon until now only available in Tasmania to the police force's special operations teams.
Making sure that our general duties police that are more likely to face those dynamic situations that involve a threat requiring another option is what we're trying to accommodate.
Giving frontline Tasmanian police another critical tool to perform their duties while ensuring confrontations don't turn deadly. The trial commences on July 1. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmania News.
A new tool has been unveiled to help Tasmania's tourism and hospitality sector prepare for the arrival of the new Spirit vessels. The website aims to ensure businesses are ready to handle an expected increase in traffic and demand from caravan and motorhomes.
Preparing for better days ahead, tourism and hospitality representatives gathering at the West by Northwest Forum in Devonport ahead of the new Spirit ships being put into service in 2027.
One of the key things is that through the challenges of the Spirits being delayed, what we've really wanted to do is really focus on how as a destination and how our operators can be better prepared for when the new Spirits come.
We're very excited to be welcoming the Spirits October next year. And our region, the West by Northwest region, we really capitalise on the spirits that come to our region.
Part of those preparations is the release of a new resource, an online educational tool aimed at upskilling tourism operators to capitalise on a growing caravan and motorhome visitor trade.
How they can learn from other operators that are doing it well and start to really put that work in over the next 12 months so they can actually capitalise on that increased visitation that's coming to our state.
It comes as the opposition asks questions around TT Line's finances and calls for an increase in day sailings.
Are they going to ensure the long-term viability of the TT line, and are they going to need to bail them out?
The Premier says the state government's backing the tourism and hospitality industries, pointing to the completion of Berth 3 next year in time for the next summer season. Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmania News.
It's time to play the music and light the lights. The Australian Musical Theatre Festival is about to take the stage. The event bringing the country's top Broadway stars and fresh-faced up-and-comers together.
These Hobart students took the plunge, inspired by the Australian Musical Theatre Festival, moving to Melbourne to study at the Victorian College of the Arts. Now they're back to perform for their hometown crowd.
To be doing a full circle moment and being those people is really special.
They'll rub shoulders with some of musical theatre's best, like Caroline O'Connor, who's fresh in from performing in Paris.
and I get to sort of help them and maybe sort of maybe inspire them a little bit or give them a little bit more confidence.
Their work sings for itself. With talents that have taken them to stages all over the globe.
Chicago, West Side Story, Moulin Rouge, Mamma Mia, Dirty Dancing.
Joined for the first time by the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra.
Any performer will tell you, having an orchestra behind you lifts the bar on every level.
So fortunate to be able to share the stage with such incredible performers that we've looked up to for years.
The Australian Musical Theatre Festival takes the stage in Launceston tomorrow and will be dancing around the city for the next week.
You can tell I'm giddy. I'm actually very excited to be here and to be doing this because this is totally what I love to do.
Billy Gibbons, 7 Tasmania News.
The North West Football League representative teams are gearing up to head into NTFA territory this weekend for the opening clash of the Tasmanian Rep Series. Penguins' Georgia Purton and Devonport's Kai Cameron says the opportunity to represent their region is something they're not taking lightly.
To be recognised for your individual performances while being part of such a fantastic team in Penguin, it's a huge honour.
There's a lot of difference compared to when you go out and play on the weekend and they're your rivals, and then you go to train and with them, and yeah, definitely I think there's a lot to learn.
Both games will be played at UTAS Stadium this Saturday and will kick off from midday. It's been a long time in the making, 2,100 days to be exact. But the Eastern Suburbs Rugby Union Club has broken their winning drought, a pure example of never giving up and an unbreakable bond. I spoke to the winning team a little earlier.
As the final minutes ticked down and 8 points ahead on the scoreboard, the Eastern Suburbs rugby team could feel something special was building.
We knew we were pretty close to the final whistle. We weren't 100% sure what the score was. The referee didn't give any indication, so we just had to keep pushing.
Then, in a moment that had been more than 2,000 days in the making, the Roosters finally tasted victory. Breaking a near 6-year drought, the team embraced the sweet taste of triumph.
Emotions were pretty heightened. We were just couldn't believe it, like in awe of winning.
One of the first to share the moment was the club's vice president, Les Marshall, who has devoted nearly 60 years to the team.
Then when the referee blew his whistle, I was nearly going to tear up, you know. Rugby players aren't supposed to do that, you know.
The struggle to retain players during the winless streak had been immense, but the club's spirit never wavered.
The issue is retaining players when they can quite easily go to a rugby club that's winning weekly.
Takes a lot of yelling, a lot of reassurance, a lot of drive, and just keep turning up.
The bond with those on and off the field simply unbreakable.
A lot of friendship and brotherhood out there.
Our kids, our players, and every member is part of a family. It's not a rugby club really, it's a family.
And that family never gave up hope.
It'll definitely boost the morale amongst the team. We've got players that have been with us for 5 years that have never won a game of rugby.
Now, with a pep in their step, the club sets its sights on the next challenge, a face-off against defending champs Launceston. But Les has a warning.
That doesn't mean that we're going to lie down, because these boys will never lay down.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport recorded 15 today, with 16 in Launceston and also Burnie. Flinders Island, Smithton's at Helens Friendly Beaches and Ouse all 17. 16 on King Island and also at Lowhead, Grove and Strawn 15 and 8 in Laiweni. Overcast conditions were experienced about the north and west today, becoming partly cloudy this afternoon. Extensive areas of low cloud are visible about northern New South Wales. Scattered cloud pushed onshore to the southern coast of WA and parts of Queensland. Tomorrow, a trough will approach the southwest of the state as a ridge extends across Tasmania. Northwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots about the waters in the west and south. Variable winds 5 to 10 knots through Bass Strait. West to southwesterly swells building to 3 metres in the south. Now that frost warning continues for the central North, Midlands and the Upper Derwent Valley tomorrow morning. Another fine day in Hobart tomorrow, 16 also in Geeveston, with a bit of cloud, a frosty morning, followed by partly cloudy conditions in Bothwell with 15 there. A bit of cloud hovering over the north tomorrow, 16 in Launceston, Devonport 15, and 14 the top for Cressy after an overnight low of -1. 16 and cloudy in Burnie and Strawn, yet fine in Curry with 18 the maximum. The east can expect sunny skies, St Helens and Swansea both 17, fine also in Alford with 16. Forecast for Thursday, light showers about the west after another visit from Jack Frost, but fine elsewhere. Light showers developing about the north during the day on Thursday. Now they're likely to increase and extend along the east coast in the afternoon. Showers more frequent about the north and east on Saturday, tending further west later. Here's how the forecast is shaping up across the country tomorrow. Showery across Sydney, 21, partly cloudy in Adelaide and Melbourne, a bit of cloud for the City of Churches. Hobart and Devonport, both 9 degrees currently, and it's 8 in Launceston. I look forward to joining you again tomorrow night, Kim.
And that wraps up your Tuesday night local news. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good night, everyone.